compiled by Ju.dy By.ington. The storm is here, any moment now, Q. It's only wise to put away a month's supply of food, water, cash, and essential supplies for yourself and to share with others. American Anthem, The Dream of a Nation. Veterans Day Special, The Dream of a Nation, 11/11/21. More than 20 years ago, Gene Shear read a book about the creation of the U.S. Constitution, made him realize the passionate dedication of the founders of this nation, a nation that would one day become a symbol of freedom for the world. He felt inspired to write the song American Anthem. All weeping given by those who came before, the dream of a nation where freedom would endure. The work and prayers of centuries have brought us to this day. What shall be our legacy? What will our children say? Let them say of me, I was one who believed in sharing the blessings I received. Let me know in my heart when my days are through, America, America, I gave my best to you. Ju.dy note, there were all kinds of signs that a global economic collapse event was happening right now and would continue to plunge in a slippery slope with the collapse of cabal corporations after the RV. A global currency revaluation of currencies and redemption of ZIM bonds would soon set the stage for world's recovery. Hold on tight. There's no cause for discouragement. There's no room for despair. You are the chosen if you bought revaluing currencies and or ZIM bonds. You have set yourself up to play an important role in rebuilding our world. Go forth with courage. One person's opinion on how the global financial collapse will happen only after the RV. I think I'm getting it. Could it possibly be that it's not what we all think? This is a controlled military operation. Yep, got it. I think you know it too. Hint, each industry has to be shut down, such as CVS Pharmacy. No need for medication when you have med beds, and Apple stores when you have Q phones. How do you close stores down? How do you crash the economy? How do you get people to lose their jobs? Yep, Rubik's Q on Telegram, Wednesday, September 27th. Because the comms are getting really obvious and the markets are on their last legs. Jobs are being cut and harder to find. More truth coming out in mainstream media about jabs and corruption everywhere. This week, Trump was shown with a gun after his speech in South Carolina, and it links to the Q drop that is shaped like a gun with the text reading boom, 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 blackout. AI on Telegram, Wednesday, September 27th. The blackout will host the EBS to explain the truth behind terrorism around the world, Big Pharma, Red Cross child trafficking, world wars, and how it's all bottled up at UBS Credit Suisse. Wednesday, September 27th, something big is happening. Tucker Carlson. Something big is happening in the United States before it's news.com. Wednesday, September 27th, SGAnon situation update. Upcoming shock event, be ready. Since 2008, America's corrupt political families have been paying themselves with your taxpayer dollars that were laundered through Ukraine. There was a reason every single warmonger in the U.S. government needs Ukraine to win. That's how they get paid. When Ukraine loses, so do they and their entire worldwide network. On Tuesday, September 26th, something went literally wrong in the U.S. Sailors on a U.S. battleship saluted the Stars and Stripes, which was hoisted incorrectly upside down, a signal of dire distress that the country was under attack. Rubik's Q on Telegram, Wednesday, September 27th. Wednesday, September 27th, Philadelphia, PA breaking. Large crowds of people have started to riot, looting multiple stores, as a citywide rapid response has been activated in Philadelphia, PA. Wednesday, September 27th, Bitcoin holdings plummet. Mass exodus. On Monday, September 25th, 2023, the White Hats arrested General Mark Milley and sent him to Gitmo. Milley, who held one of the highest positions in the U.S. military, has been accused of treason and covert dealings with foreign powers. This was his second arrest. Wednesday, September 27th, Melissa Moore, the so-called mRNA.
Now, I've been talking about optogenetics, and maybe I'll come and talk about that sometime. But optogenetics it's a hot topic in modern research, and they claim they've never done it on humans, but I cite the Travis Scott concert, which I think is an optogenetic hit. Basically what they do is they can make a chemical called an opsin, and they can hybridize these opsins to do certain things. They can make them very specific, and they can put them in you, and then they can beam a wavelength on it, and it will cause things to happen. Okay, that's a very brief study, but they can do it with very, very precise spatial temporal precision, they call it. Very precise way. So they can start and stop cardiac arrhythmias, for example. That's what I think happened at the Travis Scott concert. They were all vaccinated young people. They walked through strobe lights, and then they went into the music where there's all this wavelength, and it tends to be a lower frequency wavelengths that are used to activate these things. And something happened, and about 14 people dropped, and one person that survived it, that didn't just die, he said, it felt like when I was standing there, my heart just stopped. And that's what you would see in this kind of a hit. But in any case, they're talking about October 4th, an event. And this is, there's a group called TLS, I think it's the Light System it stands for, and these are people that claim that they have infiltrated the whatever we want. I call them the Babylonian Mafia, but the big guys, the big elite in the world that are running this show, and that they're trying to, through various techniques, turn the tide by getting them to do things in different ways and stopping things. Well, they're the ones that put this out through an intermediary. They said, you need to get this word out, and this is a guy on the internet. And he said, so he's just saying, he put it out. He's like, there's a new thing that came out today. I'll put that up. But he said that on October 4th at 2:22 p.m., they're going to do a theoretical test of the emergency broadcast system. Now, we've been hearing this for a while, so that part I can believe. And then they said, but what's really going to happen is they're going to blast this wavelength and it's going to do something. They don't know, but they're concerned that it's going to do something bad. Now, I will say that in addition to optogenetics and the Travis Scott concert and all the things I've looked at, it's my opinion that while they've been waving their hand about mRNA and trying to distract us over here, this is the kind of thing they've really been doing. And that this is very easy to do and cheaper relative than all that fancy genetic manipulation to do mRNA technology. So I got to say, I think there's some juice behind this. And for me, and I will say this, look at all the Chinese people that were, there were several of these that you saw, and they were looking at their phone, and then the flash, you could see it flash on their face, and then they just slumped over in their chair. We didn't have any follow-up on that, so who knows? And it's hard to know what's PSYOP, but that's consistent. Again, these things, you can't just take one data point, but this looks consistent across the spectrum. We had it happen in Israel, in South Korea. Personally, I'm not going to take any chances. I'm going to take October 4th, and I'm going to take the afternoon off, and I'm just going to not be around any electronics. I'm going to shut down my house grid and put my phone into a Faraday cage. I didn't say to do that before, but that's probably a good idea because they can activate it remotely whether you turn it off or not, unless you take the battery out. So I personally am going to do that, and then if it doesn't happen, they say the backup's on October the 11th, and I'll do it again then. And the worst case scenario, they're going to produce a zombie apocalypse. Think the Hutus and the Tutsis. I mean, they're going to create some behavioral change in people that took this vaccine or somehow have this microtech in their body. That would be the worst case scenario. And the best case scenario is nothing happens, and we all get a nice day away from our electronics to commune with our families and nature. I think that's what I'm hoping for. So anyway, that's October 4th and October 11th. I would take it seriously. I would, it's cheap and easy to do. Now, the problem is if you're at certain work and you're certain jobs, and I don't know what to tell you, but I think the best thing you can do is try and be away of your cell phone. Who knows what else? TVs may do it. But if you're a policeman, you're on duty and you've got to be on the radio. It's probably not going to be the radio, but I don't know. You guys probably know more about that than I do.
Sorry, Seth, but let me tell you this.
Yeah.
We've got whistleblowers, including a FEMA one, who said, look, they've already done this test in other countries. I was there. You can't opt out. You turn your device off. It doesn't matter. It's still going to go off. Incredible. Some people had them in Faraday cages, and they still went off. What does that mean? Well, a Faraday cage blocks out microwave signals, but it doesn't block out all the signals. So what that means is that this is a very broad spectrum of signals that is being sent, and it makes sense. If you've got a 2G phone, you got a 5G phone, those are different frequencies. 2nd generation to 5th generation are different frequencies with different lengths. And if they're able to reach your TV, your AM, your FM radio, your cell phone, your iPad, that is a broad range of frequencies all at the same time. So that's the concerning part. What do these frequencies do, and why are they doing this all at one time everywhere? And yet there's more. We're only going to hear a few seconds of it. They're going to continue the test for a couple of hours. What that means is these frequencies are going to happen. We're not even going to know it's going to happen if they wouldn't have told us. Why?
Global currency reset possible timeline. Tuesday, September 26. Bruce, Tier 4B. Notification should be sent out after the Gazette publishes the new Iraqi dinar rates. Tier 4B appointments should be available sometime between now and Friday, September 29th. The first 2 weeks of October, Nasara should pay out. Reclamation funds. Wednesday, September 27th, Mark Z. The Senate passed a resolution to end the war and sanctions on Iraq. Once the House passes it, Iraq will have full control over their own money, oil, and destiny. Many of my sources were still looking for the end of the week. Frank 26. A 10-day process will start on Thursday, September 28th, where there will be a gradual and automatic increase in the value of the dinar. The Iraqi people will receive their HCL proceeds, and Iraq will ascend into the World Trade Organization so that on Monday, October 2nd, the WS Bank branch would be open for business. Philosophy, Tier 4B notification with appointments set for the next 12 days or until Wednesday, October 11th. Walking stick, an Iraqi citizen and bank owner. The tender for the currency and coins has been met per request, meaning the needed currency and coins, the count and the value, for the release of the new exchange rate has been fulfilled. TNT Tony, everyone is saying it will be done by the end of this coming weekend. Wolverine, the funds have been released and placed on the quantum financial system. The first 2 weeks of October, Nasara should pay out. By Sunday, October 1st, all banks were required to be on the gold asset-backed quantum financial system, rather than the old SWIFT system based on the fiat US dollar. Sunday, October 1st, the US note was set to be announced. Monday, October 2nd, US Inc. government shutdown causing a worldwide financial crisis. Tuesday, October 3rd has been officially designated as the National Day of the Republic of Iraq in order to celebrate Iraqi freedom from the US Inc. By Tuesday, October 10th, the bulk of redemption appointments and exchanges were expected to be done. On Wednesday, October 11th, possible EBS with Biden removal, and that would kick off a four-month military action. The end of October, Sidney Powell has a date with the Supreme Court to present evidence on 2020 election fraud. Wednesday, November 1st, it was the goal to have currency exchanges and ZIM bond redemptions completed, at which time the U.S. federal dollar would be considered worthless. Holly, some very important things are going to happen. Number one, the USA sanctions on auctions for Iraq are being lifted after 30 years. Signed off by Treasury last week when Iraq was in USA. Boom. Number two, Iraq is being part of the WTO by October 4th. They have to have an international rate to be part of it. Boom. 3. Iraq is having their first ever Independence Day on October 3rd. Congratulations, Iraq. This means they are independent and their war has ended. This by far is the biggest boom ever. In November, Social Security will be paid out in much higher payments. Tuesday, September 26th, boom. New epic of peace, the inception of QFS gold-backed coins, the salvation for the patriotic, video AMG News. Robert Powers on Telegram. I got an email from my credit union that they are now have wealth management services and scheduling appointments for anyone that has questions. Rumored GCR recent history. On Friday, September 15th, Iraq officially RV'd their dinar. On Friday, September 22nd, Iraq announced the new Iraqi dinar international rate as $11.90. On that same Friday, September 22nd, the quantum financial system took over the global financial system. On Sunday evening, September 24th, the QFS was activated, with all funds gold-backed. Global financial crisis. Wednesday, September 27th, while we're all distracted with election shenanigans, gold is skyrocketing, and Bitcoin and other crypto are plummeting, maybe. Wednesday, September 27th, UBS trading halted as U.S. steps up Credit Suisse probe. Wednesday, September 27th, Bitcoin holdings plummet. Mass exodus. Billionaire chairman of China Evergrande, Hui Kayan, has been placed under police control, but it is unclear why. CVS Pharmacy to close 900 stores by the end of 2024, citing shoplifting as a major problem. India. Indians told to return billions in high-value notes as bank issues recall order. Indians have until the end of September to deposit the high-value notes or exchange them for another denomination. Express.co.uk. Will the U.S. government shut down October 1st? I have heard that Speaker McCarthy is not allowing a vote. And so if they're not going to have a vote, then I would say, yeah, the shutdown should happen. So we'll see. But it says, government shutdown unavoidable, hopes dim as deadline nears, Gates threatens McCarthy. Expect stock market to continue bleeding today. Wednesday, 27th of September, Dow dropped 1.14%. Tuesday, it will lose another few percent points today. 1.14% doesn't seem like much, however, the fluctuation average is 0.6%. The perfect storm consists of 1 government shutdown, 2 auto workers industry, 3 student loan forgiveness revoked, and 4 soaring gas prices. Think all 4 are met. FYI, the crash of market will start on Friday. Once trading hits sell-off to 20%, the stock exchange stops, as in closes, all trading for a cooling off period, then reopens on Monday. Sell-off continues until another 20% and again triggers a close of all trading until next morning. Friday the 29th, sell-off 20%. Monday, second sell-off, 20%. Point of no return. Tuesday, third sell-off 20%. Wednesday, fourth crash. EBS test timing. IMO. Apollo Memphis on Telegram, Wednesday, September 27th. Maui massacre, an urgent plea for help. The capital of the sovereign nation of Hawaii in Lahaina, Maui has been destroyed. And we have a link to an article, breaking news, before it's news, Ju.dy code, breaking intel, September 26, 2023. 15 out of 2,000 missing Maui massacred children found by Navy SEALs. Navy SEALs save missing Maui children. This is an article at Real Raw News. No media coverage on 2,000 still missing Maui children believed kidnapped before it's news. Maui roadblock. Maui workers' viral video shows Front Street Police roadblock. Dews melted the water pipes underground in Lahaina and Paradise, California fires. Any aid you can give to help those suffering tremendous losses would be greatly appreciated, but be careful where you donate. The Kingdom of Akua Foundation's Malama Lahaina website was the only official and authorized site solely dedicated to and run by the Hawaiian Native peoples. Malama Lahaina, Pupukahi I Holomua. The real news for Wednesday, September 27th, 2023. The Harvey Weinstein trial led to Jeffrey Epstein. The Pross and Leonardo DiCaprio trial leads to Obama, foreign agent. The Hunter Biden trial leads to Joe Biden. Do you see the trend? So what is the conclusion? Wednesday, September 27th. U.S. Raise your hand if you think General Mark Milley committed treason. Wednesday, September 27th. Australia. Dan Andrews, Premier Victoria, Australia, who presided over some of the world's longest election fraud, Delaware County, Pennsylvania. A video from Camera 7 shows a woman filling in blank ballots and stamping them. A uniformed officer standing right there watching. Unbelievable. The U.S. Senate just approved a repeal of the war with Iraq authorization. The U.S. House of Reps are to vote on the repeal of said declaration tomorrow, which removes all sanctions currently remaining in place, thus allowing a currency reinstatement with a revaluation to follow shortly thereafter. All are hurdles removed with 2 days remaining in the month. Drug shortages reported at 96% of U.S. pharmacies as Big Pharma's supply chain begins to fail. The Pharmacy Technician Certification Board, PTCB, conducted a survey recently which found that 96% of pharmacy technicians across the country are reporting shortages of what are considered essential pharmaceutical drugs. Everything from chemotherapy and attention deficit. Read more. Tuesday, September 26th, bombshell. Unmasking the Bidens. The shocking allegations of FBI moles. Tuesday, September 26th, 5D QFS stops all 3D deep state corruption in its tracks. QFS satellite monetary system and GCR unraveling the tethers of deep state depravity. In underground dumps, they found food and drink hidden by the cabal that could feed the population of the whole world for the next 150 years. 14.2 billion tons of high-quality food. They've been analyzed. The samples did not contain toxic substances that are normally released in the general population. 9/11. The BBC reported the collapse of World Trade Center 7 approximately 20 minutes before its actual collapse on 9/11. They even had their reporter deliver this news as Building 7 stood tall in the background. How did the BBC know that a 47-story steel-framed skyscraper would collapse from fire?
I'm proud to let you know that my amendment using the Holman Rule to fire Secretary Lloyd Austin just passed on the House floor. This is the first time in the 118th Congress that we have used the Holman Rule. This is the first one introduced, and as a matter of fact, it's the first time the Holman Rule has been used in years. The Holman Rule is a very important tool that members of Congress can use to fire federal government officials. And Lloyd Austin, the Secretary of Defense of the United States, definitely deserves to be fired.
If you look at who owns CNBC, Fox, and CNN, at the top of the shareholder list, you have Vanguard and BlackRock. They're at the top of everything, every company's shareholder list. They own everything. Then you look at the manufacturers, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, and Moderna, who are the top shareholders of these companies, Vanguard and BlackRock. And they also own all of those defense contractors that want to rebuild Ukraine. I don't know. Looks like, you're starting to see the puzzle pieces come together. Biden crime family. James Biden confirmed to FBI family tried to help Chinese firm buy U.S. energy assets.
Fox News alert. Congress just released 700 pages of evidence proving the Biden family was selling out our country for cash. Hunter Biden referred to access to his father Joe as the keys to my family's only asset. We also discovered that Joe Biden hosted two of Hunter's Mexican billionaire clients at his official vice presidential residence in Washington, and then flew his son to Mexico City on Air Force Two so he could cement a deal. Another piece of evidence. When Hunter was complaining he didn't have enough money, Joe Biden's brother Jimmy texted him saying, "Don't worry, we'll get Joe's help for this to work." And more emails released proved the Biden administration blocked foreign influence peddling investigations into Joe Biden. This explains why the CIA wants Biden to bow out before more dirty laundry is exposed.
White Hat Intel. With the Trump arrest, the CIA and FBI were creating false flag event shootings and were trying hard to create violent civil unrest scenarios leading to civil war scenarios. Be careful out there, patriots, as the deep state starts mass cycles of deadly shootings through the U.S. and blame Trump supporters, QAnon patriots, or blame the shootings created by transgenders on bullying, making the right scapegoats for their actions. They are inside a third stage of fourth and fifth generation warfare, pitting humans against humans in deadly human tragedy scenarios. looking for an outcome to blame to the political oppositions and bringing in near-death U.S. civil unrest war events that would lead UN intervention in the U.S. And this was always the deep state Pentagon, CIA, Obama, Rockefeller, Rothschild plan. Their idea was to bring in the UN and create quick laws in massive civil war unrest scenarios and give power to the UN over the U.S. and their military. The deep state's final moves was to arrest U.S. military commanders loyal to the Constitution, Republican followers, Trump loyalists, or seemingly rogue commanders who would not support their deep state agendas. We were far inside the storm now, and there's no turning back. We're crossing the Rubicon. The latest news from David Wilcock. According to NSA sources, White Hats are currently attacking the Fort McPherson base complex in Atlanta, Georgia. It is here that the Rockefeller citadel of AT&T and CNN conducts fake psychological operations of the Joe Biden administration. Is that Tyler Perry Studios that has the fake White House that the Biden regime uses? End quote. Repeat the line. According to Canadian intelligence sources, Biden's fall will be followed by a similar move in Canada. Justin Castro will be removed from office and humiliated. The Canadians, supported by the military alliance, are waiting for a signal to act. They promise. Dutch farmers warn Prime Minister Mark Rutte the protests will continue. We have the support of millions of people. There will be actions that Holland has never seen. And it looks like it started in China too. People are rebelling against the CCP machine. Banks collapsed there, and the police were unable to stop the protesters by fraudulently manipulating their mobile devices. The Chinese people should understand that George Soros boasted that his people took over China in 1987. We had a video of him saying that, but it seems to have been deleted from our computers and from the internet. However, the fact that the regime there agrees with the fake pandemic and the accompanying excessive social control is a clear sign that they are not working for the Chinese people.